So the Zohar also says that all of these directions are, you look in that direction and you can see everything that goes from that direction. So it's not just limited to the land of Israel. It's limited. It goes all the way around the world from there.
Then you can see your own backside.
And by the way, not only limited in terms of physical directions, but in terms of temporal directions as well.
So you can see all the way north, all the way around the earth. You end up seeing your backside.
Mm-hmm.
That's a view I don't need.
Right?
You have to stay focused on the goal. Banegba, and towards Negev, with the tikha that's going to close off the thought and be connected to what was come from before. Similarly, you will have an open view when you look southwards and towards Negev, as emphasized by the closing shape of the directional reading. So those two directions complete each other.
The Negev, but by saying towards the Negev.
No.
Towards, not necessarily your view stops there.
Correct.
You're looking in that direction, but it again can continue to infinity.
The Negba is the term is southwest.
Southwards.
Yeah, towards. Okay.
Yeah. Vakedma, and towards east, with a mecha, so lightly connected to what's come from before, but mostly moving onwards. Similarly, you will have an open view. You will have all lands in your sight when you turn in another direction and towards east, as manifested by the directional shape of the reading mark. Ulim dinacha, not vidakaman. And to your nation, to what you'll have dominion overwards. So Onkelos translates this into Aramaic, not saying that it's eastward, but rather to the way that your nation is going to grow.
I mean, the Kedma rather than Mizrach, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then there's another word, right? Mizrach. But I think Mizrach may be a more modern word.
He's saying here that Onkelos was a Nicha. He's not using short.
So this is more of a political direction rather than a map direction. But he's saying that you're going to see everything. The Yama, and towards the sea with stabilizing Sofasuk, and another infinity will extend and towards sea in the direction of the west. Yeah.
The Onkelos, I'm not quite sure what the Aramaic word is, but it looks, the root is Medina, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So certainly from where they were, the only actual established lands that he knew of, now I'm pushing this, would have been eastward. Because Canaan was not an established land, it was just a hodgepodge of city-states.
Egypt would be further west. Egypt was around, no?
I'm saying I'm pushing it, yeah, that's exactly what I'm pushing it. Telling him to look eastward towards...
So the way I'm understanding this, I could be completely wrong. Sun rises in the east, which means look into the future, right, of the Medina. Because things in the west from where he's already ahead of what's happening in the west, but the east is further ahead of where he's at. So this is the rising of the sun, the rising of the Medina. It's a look at the future.
That assumes
that the world turns.
Non-heliocentric Earth. Yeah. Right.
again, the Zohar specifically says here that the question is Avram just getting dominion over those things that he can see from his vantage point? V'chi l'chi rayato shel Avram yarash ha'aretz v'lo yoter, is just what he saw, what they're going to inherit. The entire land that you're seeing, is that what it's talking about? Ela kevan, but what does it really mean? She'arbat stadei ha'olam ra'ah. He saw literally the four corners of the earth. Kol ha'aretz ra'ah. He saw literally all of the earth. Sheharei arbat stadei ha'olam hem klal kol ha'olam. If you look in all the directions to the four corners, you've seen it all. Va'od, but also what does this mean? Shezekafo HaKadosh Baruch Hu al Eretz Yisrael, that he gave him perspective on the entire land of Israel. V'haralo shehi ksura b'tzadei ha'olam, that the land of Israel is in fact part of something that influences or is something that is connected to the rest of the world. V'haya ro'eh hakol, and he would see not only the land of Israel, but how it's going to have influence over the rest of the world. So when he's saying limedincha, to your nation, what you're going to have, Eretz Yisrael, and how it's going to influence to infinity, how it's going to influence the rest of the world from there.
Beyond.
That's not in this sentence. It's got to be in another sentence. So, as we read through the sentence, the points that I want everyone to note is Hashem is going to stand alone, Avram is going to stand alone, the Lot moving away is going to stand alone, and then Avram is going to see, pause, Min HaMakom, God is again going to stand alone, Asher Hashem, from the place where he is, physically and spiritually, is going to stand, be isolated. Safon of Anegba, those two directions are going to be connected to each other, and Vaked Mavayama, and those two again are going to be connected to each other. So one set is physical dimensions, and the other set is the way that it influences the rest of the world as well, from there to things that are broader from it. Vadoshem Amar El Avram Acharei Hipared Lot Meimo Sana Einecha Ur'ei Min HaMakom Asher Tasham Safona Vanegba Vakedma Vayama. And we're going to continue on. I think we'll do one more pasuk and then we'll stop for the evening.
Yeah.
So going back to that, it seems that at this point Avram was sort of not having total faith, because God had to tell him to lift up your eyes and look. Like he was becoming unsure. So isn't that usually frowned upon? You're not going to have faith anymore?
So here he had taken a major disciple, and his disciple had not only left, but had not only left physically, but had left philosophically as well.
Right.
So
So he starts to doubt his own.
And again, this is really the only parish in which we see that expressed, that perhaps there was some despondency here.
Mm-hmm.
and it flows from the necessity of having to deal with each word individually.
But can I suggest,
Mhm.
knowing Abraham and his trajectory, right? Before and after, he cared about every single person. He cared about Ishmael. He went upset him when Ishmael was sent out. He cared about Anshe Stom. So of course he would have. I can't see a way that he would not have been upset that his nephew Lot had left him.
Right?
He's upset.
His focus
Right.
is always on looking at the the needs of others and at the spiritual place of others and trying to elevate that.
But he's upset by it, but it also so has heavenly supervision retracted, like he's really thinking he's been abandoned, not just by Lot or the followers, but God.
So he is internalizing what happens to him after Lot turns away from the philosophy. Avram loses his vision, and Avram blames himself because he would not be one to put the blame on someone else. So we compare and contrast this with Avram after his final test, after he has to take Isaac up to Har Moriah, and what has he done for all of his life? He's told all of these people who follow him, don't sacrifice your child. So one of the consequences of Avram taking Yitzchak up to Har Moriah is all of his followers are going to see that he's going up to sacrifice his child. He's going to lose all of his followers. So it's not just go and sacrifice your child, it's throw away everything that you've done in your life. And Avram manages to pass that test later on. So the question is this a less mature Avram who needs to go through more in order to pass this test ultimately? And I don't know if this falls into that continuum or not, but I think it might be sort of part of that. We do see growth in Avram, and he overcomes this hurdle later. That what his followers think does not define him.
Language is beautiful. It says here, it sort of echoes the language of Ishmael, that Hashem visited him Ba'asher Husham when he was bereft and felt that all of the good life that he knew was taken from him, all the meaning to life and the structure was taken from him. And Hashem came to him and said, don't worry, I'm with you.
Can I throw something else at that? The word sham also means to assess. So there may be just a hint, that idea that he's a self-assessment. That's where the understanding is that he's assessing himself and finding himself wanting. Shin mem means to an assessor is in Hebrew is shin mem.
So one of the main philosophical points in the Rosh Hashanah laning is that doesn't matter who you've been, God will assess you b'asher husham. God will assess you in the place where you are right at that moment. So if you can manage to put yourself into a place of acceptance of your deeds and contrition, even momentarily, even if you've done things that are despicable, you have this special power of being able to be forgiven at that moment in time. So certainly self-assessment is an important part of this. And maybe we will stop here for the evening. I
Okay.
think that's a good spot, and we'll stop there.
Yasher Koach, thank you very much.
Thank you.